Hey guys, it's aribiterspar and welcome to my Slayer guide for Aberrant Spectres. So on your screen right now you can see some information about them. First is the amount that they're assigned by some separate Slayer masters. Kuradal 150 to 249, Duradal 130 to 199, Simona 120 to 185, and they have 900 life points each. You get 90 Slayer experience for killing them. And the location that we are going to be using is cannoning them in the Polynevich Slayer dungeon. The main requirement to be able to use this dungeon being the completion of the quest Smoking Kills, which is a fairly easy and low level quest. Alright guys, so first we'll start off with what you should be wearing. Of course, for gloves, you're going to want to wear the best ones that you can. Dragon boots. You can wear the Berserker ring, but since we are going to be using a CLS for this task, a Warrior ring is a decent, cheaper alternative to a Berserker ring if you do end up using the CLS if you have it. Also, now that we're talking about the CLS, we'll go through the alternatives. If you don't have a CLS or you can't use it, the next best alternative is Rapier. After Rapier, it's Maul. After Maul, it's Whip. And that is the order that it is best to worst in as far as weapons to use goes. Now, for stuff to wear, you can wear bandos, chestplate, and tassets. However, the cannon is going to be doing a lot of work for you here. So if you are still going to be cannoning, but you're worried still a little bit about prayer points, you can exchange it out for proselyte. Dragon Defender, of course, for the shield slot. You don't need anything in your arrow slot. Also a Fury and a Fire Cape. You can exchange the Fire Cape out, of course, as usual, for a Soul Wars Cape if you are more worried about prayer points. And finally, a Slayer helmet. Now we'll be going over your inventory setup. The best inventory setup is, of course, your cannon parts and your cannonballs. You can do this on only one overload, but me personally, I always like to bring a spare because you never know if I may take extra drinks or what might happen. I could accidentally hit empty. Also, I prefer to bring about 10 prayer potions. It can be done with much less, especially if you're wearing Prosy. It can be done around 6. But I bring 10 since I'm in Bandos, and again, you never know what may happen. I have the extra inventory spaces anyway. You are going to want some kind of spec wep. I prefer claws. You're going to want to have your best combat familiar summoned, and then of course the scrolls for that combat familiar in your inventory and charged into your Slayer helm. Also, so you can manually do it, that's why they're in your inventory. A Glory to teleport out of there, Ring of Slaying to know how many left you have to do, Holy Wretch to increase the amount of prayer points you get per drink, and the Herbicide. Herbicide is very useful if you have it and you can afford to get it with dungeoneering tokens. Basically, it's very useful because all sorts of herb drops that I normally wouldn't pick up basically now automatically get cleared off the floor and I get the herb lore experience for cleaning them. So now I know if I see a herb drop on the ground that it's either going to be a snapdragon or torstol. This way I don't have to keep right clicking the ground every couple of seconds just to see the drop to make sure I'm not missing something valuable. Alright, now I'll show you the best way to get to the Aberrant Spectres. Equip your Ring of Slaying and teleport to Simona in Poly. Alternatively, you can have your house in Poly as well, if for some reason you don't have a Slayer ring until here. Run south and go through the well. At this point, you're also going to want to make sure that you have your quickset prayers set to Turmoil and Deflect Magic or Protect from Magic and Piety. Your cannon does do a lot of work here, so you do not need that on to still get decent experience per hour while you're cannoning, but I do prefer to still have Turmoil or Piety on. And you will need Protect from Magic on or Deflect from Magic on. The optionable one is Piety and Turmoil, depending on how much money you have and how much you like XP, I guess. Alright, the best place to put your cannon is 1, 2, 3 squares west, and 1, 2, 3 squares south of the smash pillar. From here, your cannon gets the best rotation, can attack and do the damage to the most familiars at once. So once everything's set up, turn on your quickset prayers, drink your overload, make sure you re-equip your Berserker ring, and start beating the crap out of all these monsters and getting your Slayer experience. With max combat stats, a Iron Titan or a Steel Titan, and overloads as well as Bandos gear, this can be up to 63k Slayer experience per hour using this method in this spot, which makes this another one of the best Slayer monsters and Slayer tasks to kill in the game. Aberrant Spectres don't have the best drops, but some fairly common and decent drops are Runeful Helms, Mystic Robe Bottoms, and Lava Battle Staffs. They're also not the best effigy per hour droppers, but are pretty decent and have a decent drop rate, so all around it is a very good task to do. They're also not exactly the best charm droppers. If you use all charms dropped, including gold, it averages out to about 0.8 summoning experience gained per 1 Slayer experience. However, it is such an amazingly good Slayer experience task that other tasks will make up for the summoning experience gain that you sacrifice to get the good Slayer experience from this task. Well, I hope you enjoyed this guide and I hope it helped you. If it did, please feel free to shoot it a thumbs up or a favorite. That always helps a lot and is very appreciated. Feel free to also come check out my channel for more RuneScape guides and content.